Alright guys, and now I want to talk about pawn storms in chess. It's such a great, fascinating topic because it's one of the easiest ways to attack. All you have to do is push the pawns on the side of the opponent's king. And what are we trying to do with the pawn storm? Just having fun and just pushing wood? No, that's not the idea. So the actual point of the pawn storm is to open up the files on the opponent's king side for your rooks and major pieces, such as the queen, while also opening up the opponent's roof. So it's not just to say h4, g4, rook g1, queen g2, yeah, I get two rooks on open highways and I'm opening them up. No, the point is also to destroy the roof, because just having the open files for the rooks or semi-open files, that's not good enough. I need the full open file, including the open file on the side of the opponent, which means I need to get rid of this pawns over here on h7 and g6. If I can open up even one whole open file, then my attack will usually work if I have a queen and another major piece to use for checkmating. So we're gonna find an example here of Bobby Fischer. So Bobby was white and he was playing a guy named Bent Larsen, who was another amazing player, and he was not quite as good as Fischer, but very good nonetheless. So we'll get to see how Bent tried to pawn storm as black in this game, and Fischer tried to pawn storm as white, and also he succeeded. Let's see how that went. b5. Bent says, yeah, I'm gonna kick away the knight, I'm going to put the queen back, not on b6 because of the bishop, but somewhere on c7 in the future, while supporting the p-pawn with the other rook. And then here come the pawns, and they're not stopping. We're gonna try to get to b3, and a lot of people say, why don't we just put the queen here and just play a5, a4, a3? Sometimes that's okay, but you also close down the position. Like if white manages to trade off these bishops, then by the time you play a3, I'll just play b3. So the point of a pawn storm is to open up a highway at any cost. You're not scared to sacrifice a pawn or even sometimes a piece just to open those roof pawns up and to open those files up. Black is very happy to sacrifice a bishop, for example, just to open up the A and B files if such an opportunity arises. Let's see how this worked out in this game. King b1. See, Fischer says, I need to protect my roof, so I may as well keep it closed. And how do I keep it closed? Probably by making sure I don't lose this pawn, okay? So that's why the king is needed on b1. Also, it doesn't get in the way of any diagonal tricks, like there will never be any skewer with bishop h6 because of that. That's why we always want to play king b1 when we castle queenside, or almost always. Majority of the time. So black says, let me kick away that knight, trying to get a tempo. He actually chose knight to d5. So Fischer says, let me centralize my knight. Bent Larsen took, and Fischer took with the bishop. Another way of playing it, by the way, would be switching from a pawn storm strategy to like a positional strategy. So we could also take with the e-pawn, then play rook e1, rook e2, rook e1, make an Alahein's gun perhaps, and start shooting at this backwards pawn on e7. And black would have trouble with this as well, but then black would continue his pawn storm. So black would have some counterplay. So Fischer took with the bishop, rook to c8, and the bishop goes back to keep the two bishop advantage. So now it's these two bishops against a knight and a bishop. Also is to protect the c2 pawn, so to make sure it's safe. Let's see how that went. Rook c7, preparing the c file. And now here comes the white pawn storm. Why is it called a pawn storm? It's like we're raining down pawns upon the opponent's king side, okay? We need to break down as many of his rook pawns as possible. If I can get rid of both h7 and g6, I'm basically winning the game. Let's see how Fischer does it. Queen b5. So he's got his own ideas. Larsen wants to push a5, a4, and then trap the bishop even. Let's see how that goes. Okay, right away. We're not scared to give away one pawn for the open file. We're not even scared to give away the g-pawn. So if black would take with the pawn, I would give away the g-pawn too, just to open up those files. That's the real point of a pawn storm. When the opponent has a pawn on g6, you want to play h4, h5. And when the opponent has pawns that are what I call the flat roof on f7, g7, h7, then you want to play g4, h5. First h5 so the knight can't go there, and then g5, kicking away the knight, and then g6, making sure to open up the one of the files. So either I'll open up the H file or the G file, but I'll open something. Okay, let's see how this works out. Larson just says, I don't care, you can open up your H file, go on. I'll open up your C file in the meantime. So H takes G, and H takes G, and now G4. We need to chase away this knight. It's not really helping us do a checkmate. Also, I have some ideas. Here comes mate. Maybe I'll take that knight with the bishop, and then I'll do a little check, king there, and check and mate. Okay, guys, so that's what Fischer is thinking. Larson is going for the counter-attack. He needs to get something going, and Fischer right away strikes. You see how Fischer has the initiative right now? He's forcing matters, right? And Black said, doesn't matter, I'll just trade off the dark square bishops, I'll block your highway, and you can't open it. White said, yes, I can, just watch me. I'll even sacrifice an exchange, a rook for a knight, just to open it up. And now I'll use that two bishop advantage and those weak light squares, because I have light square domination right now, since I'm the only one with a light square bishop. G6, pinning the pawn and almost getting a queen in some cases. So let's see what happened next. E5, Black tries to hold off the white army, you know. At the same time, he really hurts the dark square bishop and is basically saying, I can't checkmate you, but at least my king is safe. So that's not gonna work for Larson here, because that allows white to have an almost free attack. See, black pieces shouldn't make too much trouble for the white king, because there aren't enough of them. If only black had a bishop, then it's a different story. But just with 3 attackers against 2 defenders and the roof, I don't believe there can be any harm to the white king. So black is going for desperate measures. He's saying, at any cost, I need to open up this bishop. Let's see how that turns out. He sacks a pawn, so he doesn't care about pawns right now. And now he also takes the f7 pawn. His plan is eventually to open up the bishop in a lot of cases. And also, at the same time, he is attacking the weak f3 pawn. Fischer says, my pawn is more important. I opened up your king, now I'm getting my bishop open, right? It's all about getting those pieces open, their scope, and making them see further. And finally, after rook f6, bishop g5, we're just opening up this king, supporting our queenie square with the bishop. Just amazing play from Fischer. And then d7, striking at the rook, threatening to promote and making black's pieces passive, so he can forget any hopes and dreams he had of pawn storming my king. Too late now. And now it's just the finish, queen to d6. If black tries to stop it, thank you for opening up your king and getting rid of the roof. I don't even care about material, I just want to do a nice little checkmate with my nice bishop, my nice little pawn, and my nice queen. So not much black can do at this point, all because we sacked those G and H pawns to open up those files and open up that black king. So that's really the point of the pawn storm. When the kings are castled opposite ways, it's always or almost always good to do pawn storms, because then your king is safe, so you can you don't need those roof pawns on that side of the board. You can storm them up the board. But when the king is castled on the same side, it's harder to do it. So let's go to board editor now, and I'm going to show you an opening called the King's Indian, where it's okay to pawn storm on the same side castling. So when both sides castle the same way, it's still okay to pawn storm, but only on one condition. So black is going to play g6, knight c3. This is just a normal opening, nothing special about this. It's called the Mar del Plata variation, after a city in Argentina. Castles, bishop e2, e5, white castles his king, knight c6, and now the center closes it, is completely closed. If the center is closed, we can attack on the flanks. Okay, now black can finally start the pawn storm even though the kings are on the same side of the board, which sounds weird, but it makes sense because nobody can really get to my king even though I'm opening up my roof. So if nobody can get to my king and I have more pieces on this side, a pawn storm is justified. It makes sense. But if the center was open and it was something different, like these pawns were off the board, then black would not be pawn storming. I promise you. He will be trying to play for the center. So let's see how the pawn storm can continue. White plays knight e1, trying to bring that knight to his pawn storm, where he's gonna pawn storm the queen side. But sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Black is gonna put the knight back so he can start the pawn storm f5, f4, g5. Now the knights are gonna come in through here, here, here. White is gonna try to stop it, but h5 is coming. Then very often rook g8 to support the pawn storm. And you guys can say, how can a king survive without a roof like that? He's opened himself up, but he's completely safe. He has a lot of pieces on the king side, much more so than white. And it's actually white's king who should be scared of this g4 break coming in very soon. So guys, you can do a pawn storm on the same side, where you castled on the same side, as long as the center pawns are completely closed and stuck. If these pawns were gone, now it's actually black who's in big trouble, because their king, black's king, will be completely open, and white will laugh off this attack and just say, okay, we'll see who's in trouble. It's definitely not me, because now my pieces can get from the queen side to your king. Okay guys, and remember, if somebody tries to attack on the flank and the kings are castled on the same side, try to counter in the center. An attack on the flank is always best countered with a center blow. Okay, so if the opponent says h5, g4, f5 and the kings are on the same side, just play in the center and open up the center and say, what's your king doing there? That's strange. I thought he was supposed to have a roof. Okay guys, hopefully you understand the main points of a pawn storm, which is to break the king's roof, the opponent's king's roof, and to open up files for your rooks.